What's going on, everybody? Anon here, and I want to talk about Journey Together and really what to expect with the set. We just came through Surging Sparks, which was a banger. We came through Prismatic Evolutions, which is a banger. I mean, there's a dump of product on the market, but it's going to recover here pretty quickly. So Journey Together is interesting because if you look at Battle Partners, which is a Japanese set, this is the first set that I've seen in at least in a long time where they're really not taking pre-orders. And I think part of the reason is Terrestrial Festival has moved very, very quickly, and it's continued to move up. So I think, in Japan, if we were to import to the States, we have to buy the product directly from retail stores. It's not like we can buy it from a distributor. Now there's pseudo distributors / retail stores, etc. You can buy them through websites. But as of right now, I believe the set comes out this Friday. But the product can't be purchased as of yet, as far as I know. And we've looked at a couple different areas that we generally buy from. So it's super interesting. And it's a little bit of smaller set. I think it's 100. The Japanese version is 100 cards. I think we're looking at 170, 180 for Journey Together in the US. But what's interesting is the euphoria is so batshit crazy right now. We had Pokemon Center, and the ETBs were fully expected to sell out relatively quickly. I didn't expect them to sell out in like 5 minutes. I got on early. I got 2, which is what the limit was, et cetera, and that's it. And we saw it for Prismatic Evolutions, but Prismatic lasted 8 hours, and that was a specialty set. So the demand is absolutely off the charts, and part of it is because there's new factions of folks that are in here buying them, not Pokemon fans, not people who enjoy the card game. People are just like money, and it kind of is what it is. And, kudos to Pokemon Center for adding the anti-bot controls and banning folks. And look, every now and then you have some friendly fire and somebody who doesn't deserve it, but you can't win them all and you can't combat them all. So, at least they seem to be doing the right thing. But what's fascinating is the individual booster box is sold out in like 5 minutes. And this is at MSRP. I haven't seen this for a long, long time. And you get the promo here, which I believe is going to be in all the boxes in the US. But these sold out, the bundle sold out, and the sleeve booster sold out, which is absolutely crazy. So there's so much demand for a set that nobody's seen more than 1 or 2 cards for a time, that people were flipping these on eBay for like $200, $250. And they were selling it at volume. And some of the websites that are known for selling products cheaply at release, they're putting up pre-orders for $200 and $225, which is just absolutely insane. And so how do we think about this? From my perspective, we're now going on, call it a 3-month Coke binge, if you will, just a bender of FOMO between Surging Sparks, Prismatic Evolutions. We have Team Rocket coming. I believe that's going to be the May set, end of May, probably, because this is end of March. That set's going to be an absolute home run. So this is probably the set that's going to be a little bit of a letdown. Now, I believe all the Japanese cards have been spoiled. Most of the English cards have been, I shouldn't say most, 50, 60%. And I just totally made that number up. But I know I've seen a good amount of them. It looks like it's going to be a good set, but there's no Pikachu, no Charizard, none of the main draws to the set. And I think, what's interesting is Pokemon knew this. So I did a video a couple days ago just about the print runs of the Pokemon Center ETBs and extrapolating into the mind of the Pokemon company as they're planning for this. And, I think, as I mentioned multiple times before, you're 9 months plus in planning to increase print runs and do all these things when the market shifts on you. And the demand in the market has shifted so far, so fast. There's just no way for the Pokemon company to catch up, in my view, at least until Team Rocket. So if we look at this, the print run, and this is just Pokemon Center ETBs, I believe this is just US and Canada, and these are relative numbers. I don't know if they're true or not. It's just a pre-order limit that's set in the system, and the numbers seem to make directional and logical sense. So Stellar Crown is 100,000 units, ETBs. I believe Twilight was 85. So Stellar was a little bit of a step up. Surging Sparks was a big step up at 145. And this is the highest print run of anyone. Obviously, you said, till Prismatic here, and this is a specialty set. It looks like Prismatic and Paldea, they printed a little bit extra because they're specialty sets. But the Pokemon Company knew that with Surging Sparks. It was a Pikachu set. You have the banger art here. People were going to want to buy this, so they increased the print run. Now, what's fascinating is with Journey Together, they reduced the print run. Now, it's a little bit more than Stellar Crown, but they cut it back from 145 to 120,000. And I think we all know that there's no way in hell that they've sold 120,000 of these in the 5 minutes with a limit of 2 per household that they were up for sale for. So I think the Pokemon Company looked at the set and said, look, we're going to have a little bit of a step backwards in volume. This is not a hockey stick of growth. And, we're not going to have the same pull that a Pikachu or Charizard set would have, which is super fascinating because if we look at this in relative terms and assume, the print runs of all the SKUs are, have a print differential similar to what we see here. Now, I'm guessing, extrapolating. I don't have any facts, but it's fair to assume, you have a certain amount of time that you print and you got to print other stuff, right? And, you may have some slight adjustments to certain products being in more demand than others. But I don't know how much that factors into it, or they would only ever print booster boxes. So with Journey Together, we have a market that's absolutely on fire. You have a new set coming out that's pre-selling for well over MSRP. That's going to be a little bit of a disappointment. And I don't say that because of the set. I say that because the bar is absolutely insanely high between Surging Sparks and Prismatic Evolutions, where, it's going to hit the ground running. And even if it stumbles, I think there's going to be so much demand for it. It's going to be tough for the set to fail. Now, will it be disappointing compared to, the sets we just had? Almost certainly, because there's no way around it. So what's interesting is the 120,000 unit print run for Journey Together. Assume, let's say the Greninja started to take off in August, September, probably August in earnest, and then September for real. You had Stellar come out in September. That was okay. It was lukewarm. But then November, you had Surging come out. And then Prismatic absolutely on fire here in January. So Journey Together is coming out in March. So from, just call it October to March is what? 6 months? So 6 months wasn't long enough for them to adjust the print run on Journey Together. So it's probably going to be the Team Rocket set in May when they start to adjust the print run a little bit. But it'll be fascinating to see what's going on here. Well, what's also interesting is with the Prismatic Evolutions sale, we all expected a second wave of these to drop on the release date on the 17th, which didn't happen for the first time in the history of PC ETBs, at least to my knowledge, which tells me that between that fact and then, their little press release, saying, hey, we're going to print more, and, basically telling all the people who don't know any better, just, look at the shiny object over here and, get out of here. I think they didn't drop it because they don't have the product. And in my view, they don't have the product because they decided that they were going to take that print time and they were going to move it to something else. Something that probably made more sense. 165,000 units or whatever the differential would be for this. Probably not a whole lot of time relative to some of the larger prints. Probably a little bit more of a nuisance just because of the unique setup, having the 2 extra packs, needing the extra plastic pieces. For all we know, they could have been just printing Surging Sparks booster boxes and said, you know what, this is better for us. It's better for the community. It's more efficient. We're just going to do that, and we'll print more PCTBs later. But it's interesting because they're moving the pieces on the chessboard, and we can just infer based on what we see. But I think I wouldn't buy Journey Together going in, in pre-release. I would wait to see what happens, because chances are, if you pay $200 now, uh, you're not going to have to pay $300 when the set comes out. I just don't see that happening. So anyway, I just wanted to walk through the concept and the way I'm thinking about it. Now, I'm obviously excited to get a good amount of this from just distribution. Hopefully, some of the orders close this week, and within 2 or 3 weeks, we should have some idea directionally of what we're going to get. So it's going to be fascinating to see how it matches or how it compares to Surging Spark. So anyway, guys, subscribe to the channel. Join the Discord. We talk through some of the Pokemon Center stuff, volume, items that are about to stock out, and stuff like this all day long. Just how to get an edge on the market in general. So, all right, guys, have a good night.